Hi all my crafting friends out there, welcome to my studio. Tonight we are going to do a couple projects. They can be cards, but they are more projects than cards. They can be made into a card, but what I'm doing tonight is what I did in my in-person class, and so I decided to make a video on it. And anyone who would place an order with me of $35 or more using this host code right here, and that's from tonight until January 31st, which is Wednesday. Then if you place an order of $35 or more in that time frame, then I will mail you the pieces and bits to make these two projects that I'm doing tonight as a thank you for your order. And so I'm going to remove the host code, but then I'll try to remember to add it at the end whenever I am finished demonstrating these two cute projects. And so this is what we will be making. Is a little hot cocoa packet and a little mint spoon. And so sometimes they're chocolate, sometimes they're minty, but with I live in Indiana and you never know what the weather's going to be here. We had snow on the ground, and then it's been raining, and it gets cold, and it warms up, and then it drops the temperature again. And so right now we've been having fog and a lot of rain today, so it's just kind of like a damp day where you'd like to curl up with a cup of hot cocoa. And so I thought maybe that I could gift these to different people, and so I thought that I would share this. Two or three different people have been making different ones of these over the years, and so I just took a little bit of what each of them had on theirs and made it my own. So let's get started. You will first need a piece of cardstock, and you need a 5.5 by 8.5, which is the size of a card, but we are going to score it differently so that we can make it into this hot cocoa packet. So I'm going to scoot this over just a little bit and grab my score board here. I'm going to bring this over here. And I'll sit it in the landscape, so with the 8.5 at the top, and we need to score this at 3/4 of an inch, and then we need to score at 4.25 inches, 4.5 inches, and then at 8 and 8.25. So that's at 3/4, and then at 4.25, 4.5, at 8 and 8.25, and then I want to rotate it counterclockwise so that I have the larger score line at the bottom, and then the two smaller ones are at the top. And I want to, so this is in portrait, and then score at 1/4 inch. And so I'll go over that again. 3/4 inch, 4.25, 4.5, at 8, 8.25, counterclockwise, and then score at 1/4 inch. So that's all the scoring that we have for that. So I'll move this out of the way. I'm going to bring this in, and on the end that has the two score marks, I want to move my blade out of the way for now, but I'm going to set this at 3 inches and put just a little bit of a tick mark right there, and then we'll turn this over. So here's the part where it goes like a valley. I need to come over, I guess I could just do it this way. I need to come over 3 inches, and I need to make another little tick mark. And so I can do that either with a pen. So here's this little tick mark, and then I will mark this little 3-inch tick mark that I did with the score blade, or the scoring blade. And so I have a little tick mark there and one here. I will put this in my paper cutter so that each one of those is in the track of my paper cutter. And we'll close it and just cut that away. So that is going away. I'm going to trim just a little bit more because I did not get my, because I did that in pen. I want my pen mark to be gone. So just cut a little sliver away. And if that happens, you just cut the next little sliver away, and that's trash. And so it should look like this. So your wider is on this side, your 2 large ones are here, and then on this side are your narrower ones. Okay, and this is Pretty Peacock paper. We also need our DSP, and it just is like a wintry. It's not really Christmas, it's just wintry. And this piece is, it measures, I think it's 2.5 inches. Let's see. No, 3.5 inches by 2. Yes. So 3.5 inches by 2 inches. And then I have this new circle that is from the Everyday Details on page 28. And it goes along with the Everyday Details stamp. And then here is the bundle at $52. And over here is the Everyday Detail dies, and they're $34. And Sale-A-Bration is going on right now. If you spend $50 in product, then you can choose a free item from our brochure. I do not know where I laid that, but we have several items that are free with the purchase of $50 or more. Move that out of the way right now. See if I happen to have my little catalog nearby. I don't see it, but anyway, if you go online and use the host code, you can shop, and whenever you hit your $50, then they will give you the options, and then they bring them up, and you can click which ones that you want. And so that is what this is from. And I'm going to take my tweezers, and I have all these little holes that they're punched, but they're still staying. I'll go ahead and pop those all out. And it's kind of like confetti whenever you're making a project, because they just fall out randomly. So I'm putting them in my hands, like put them in the trash, hopefully. Well, some of them landed on the desk. But anyway, so there's that. And then this is a deckled circle. And this is what we'll be doing our stamping on. And then we have another little piece here, and this was just kind of a scrap piece, and I think it's maybe 1 inch wide to do our just for you. And then we have some ribbon, and I also have some of our white baker's twine. But for this piece, what I want to do is bring in my scissors, and I'm going to show you that this little piece here, we're going to cut up on all of these little lines, and I'm cutting to the inside of my score line. I'm not cutting away. So this is on the inside and that one's on the inside, so I have this tab without any score lines, so I'm cutting the score line away in a sense. So I'm going to go to the inside here, not of that little tab, and then on the inside of this other larger tab, and then right on the line there. So I just cut up on all of these little lines. Okay, so down here on this end, this piece is going to be cut away completely. So I'm going to go just to the top of that score line. So I have no score line left. And then on each one of these little bitty tabs, I'm going to just angle cut those to wedge them. So I'm cutting the score line away there again, but I'm taking out little wedges. Okay, and then down here I'm going to do the same thing. Cut out those little wedges, and then on this end I'm going to cut it away completely too. Okay, so then this is what you're left with. It's like this piece, the far outside corners are both gone, and these little tabs are wedged, and then these are just straight rectangles here. And then now that we've done the cutting on the score lines, you want to take your bone folder and very gently fold on all the score lines. And try to keep them lined up. Just be gentle. Just make certain your edges are lining up. Like right here is lining up, and over here. And these little half or quarter inch score lines is just enough for your packet to fit in, but they also are very hard to score. Now this last one we are not going to score, we're going to leave it flat. It's just it gives you reference where to glue this down at, and then where you punch for to add your spoon to it. So then down here at the bottom we're going to fold these up. Be easy with it. Okay. The other one up. And fold that one up. Okay. And once they're folded, I'm going to score or burnish it with my bone folder. Alright, so now then lay that back out flat. I want my piece of DSP. I'm going to bring this down here, and I want to bring it up about a quarter inch from the bottom, maybe half inch. So about like that, and we're going to glue it between this score line here and this one. So we're not crossing any score lines, we're putting it between the two edges here of score lines. So we'll just glue that down. I put glue on my corners. Coming from the corner inward, and just kind of run a little bit through the center. And your trees are directional. So just add, whoops. have that very straight. Okay, there we go. So there's that. So you can use tear tape, and what I would do then is add the tear tape to here if that's what you want to use. You can use liquid glue. You just have to make certain you hold it long enough for it to adhere well. We'll bring in my silicone mat, which has glue all over it. Let me wipe this off here. A project I did before. Okay, so I'm going to put this down, and on this part that has the angled corner, I want to put the score tape on that. I'll push my little pieces up, my little tabs up, so that I make certain not to glue them. You can tear this, but I find it easier just to use my scissors. And I have a glue eraser I can use to remove. And then the other place that I need glue would be on this little outside tab, the shortest little tab. And just up to the score line. Trim that away. In class we did this with glue, and it is doable. And you want to burnish. Back here you want to burnish. So this is the inside here, so on this tab here you want on the inside, and on this tab you want it on this outside. And I'm going to take this, I'm going to leave that one on for now. I'm going to take this little outside piece here off. Sure. Alright, so I've got some hanging over. I'm going to just fold it back over itself. That way I don't risk gluing it to anything. And I want to fold this down and over and bring it over to that score line. So I'm just lining it up with that score line. Then you put your bone folder inside here. Just make certain that it gets attached well. So I just folded it over and attached it so that it made it like a little box. So I just tucked that one fold back and glued it on the inside here of that score lines, but so I can still kind of see my score line. And then this part, I'm going to tuck in these two pieces. I'm going to tuck this back for right now. And then this piece here, I'm going to remove my backing off of that. as well. Sure. I'm just sticking this up underneath there, and I'm basically getting a hold of it and tearing, backing off. I want to make certain I don't touch it to anything. Just put my finger in there. There we go. Alright, so now then, folding this way, I'm going to put my two little tabs inside, bring this other piece forward, like that, and then any of this that's hanging over, I want to tuck it to the back, like that, and then square it up, and this is why I didn't do tear tape in class, is that sometimes it sticks when you're not ready for it to. There we go. And then you fold it over. Once you get it folded, put your bone folder in there, because you don't have much room. Just make certain it gets good in here. And that is how you do your box. Okay? Once you've done one, the first one is more intimidating. Once you've done one, then it's easier, because then you realize how it goes together. So now then we'll set this off to the side and move my tear tape. Move this out of the way, and then bring in my scratch paper and my little deckled circle. So we're using the Lost Lagoon ink and Real Red ink, and we are using Smoky Slate ink. The Smoky Slate is what we're going to use for our sentiment, and it says "Just for You." So I'll ink this. We'll stamp it in the middle as straight as possible. And instead of doing the roof in gray in the Smoky Slate, I'm going to switch that up a bit. So I'm going to set this off to the side here and do my Lost Lagoon next. And we're going to do the house. Okay, we'll stamp that off. Stamp again. To just ink it. So I'm going to kind of go up about middle, more a little bit towards the top. What I like about stamping on circles is that you can always just kind of adjust them. If you put it on a square or a rectangle and it's crooked, you know it, but if it's on a circle, you just adjust it. So I've got that. Now then we're going to take the words and we're going to do those full strength. And we're going to bring the OVE up to the bottom of the house. And center the rest so that the L and the ampersand. Oh man. Did not stamp well. Oh, there's little marks in it from whenever I see these little marks, it kind of. So I'm just going to turn it over. There are two sides to every project. once it's all put together, they'll never know if this is the front or the back of it. It's not inking well. Try this again. Scoot it up this time. Maybe there's a divot in the table. So the OVE lines up with the bottom of the house, and the L and the ampersand goes up into the house. There, much better. And now then, close that before I get my hand in it. Let's bring in the real red, and this is what our roof is going to be, because then that ties in the red from the spoon. I went through and I've been re-inking my ink pads. It's been a while since I've done that, and so there we go. That lines up quite well. And I'm finished with this. And so now that we're going to bring our shape in, and that is our everyday details. And we're going to add our deckled piece. To the front of this other piece. Kind of like that. I'm going to bring in my hot cocoa. I'll try to smooth it out and slide it in so that when I press, I have something to glue to. You could put this on dimensionals, but I want to glue mine directly down. Just adding glue to the back. I didn't go clear the edge because I knew it was going to overlap. Get my house and my words straight. And add that. Yep, no glue on the back, so that's good. Alright, so now then we are ready to add our ribbon and our twine. I just cut a piece of that, and I just basically tried to decide how much I was going to need. And so let's see, I have a thing here. I'm going to say this is about 10.5 inches maybe, and then it's just eyeballing the amount of twine that we need. I have my crocodile that we used to sell. You can buy these at the, like, you probably get off of Amazon, you could probably get it at Hobby Lobby, different places, or you can have a regular punch. I like this piece just because I've used it for quite some time. I'm going to go in, and I'm going to go in about as far over as I can without getting into the next panel. And I'm going to punch right there, about that where that edge is, and I'm going to just slide back towards me just a little bit and punch again. So I just basically put them side by side, as close to inline as I could, and that's really simple. And I think I yeah, I used the 1/8. So if you've got a 1/8, or you can do a little bit bigger, but I didn't think I needed bigger. So I'm going to just take my ribbon and fold it in half and feed it down through this far left hole. Now this ribbon, well, I cannot remember what it is. It's Pretty Peacock, and it's gold woven. So this end is getting pretty frayed, but that's okay. Don't trim it off yet, because when we get to the end, we can fix those ends. Scroll that through. Try to get it as even as you can. And then I have my spoon here. They were all perfect until I dropped the boxes that had the hot cocoa and the spoons in them, and every spoon is broken now. So I'm just going to crisscross this like that and bring my twine and slide it under. I'm just going to fold it over. I'm not doing anything with it yet. I just want it to go between my knot here. And then I want to tie a bow. This ribbon's fairly easy to work with because it's real soft. Just tie a little bit of a bow there. Take my ends, trim them away. Whoops, almost cut my linen, or my baker's twine. Okay, so I have a punch. It's kind of a decorative one. So I'm going to slide this in. I want to turn it over. Make certain that I have it fairly straight, and then punch, pull that back out, and we'll slide it back in again. Alright. And make certain that I get it in there straight again. And then I'm going to slide that back over just a little bit and punch that in. And then grab it and pull it out, and both ends are decorative. And then I'm going to bring in this crocodile once again. I want to come in and punch that hole right there. So I'm just making it a tag. I think that's a tag and ticket punch, but I'm not 100% certain on that. Okay, so I want to just fed it through on one of the twines. I think I want it on this bottom one. You can tell which one's on bottom, which one's on top. So I want it on the bottom one. And then I want to take my ends, tie them in a knot close to the bow. So just the ends are being tied around into a knot. And then I'm going to trim those tails off. then just take this and slide it till it gets up to that bow, and then it can hang off like that. And that is our hot cocoa tree. I like the red better than with the gray roof because I think it draws all the red out of the other things. And then the the Lost Lagoon, it has the paper back here, but it pulls it out of this paper as well. So that's our first project. And like I said, if you place an order with me of $35 or more, I will send you what you need to make these. And then the next thing that we're doing is I'm thinking gift giving for the month of January and that. This is from a fellow demonstrator. I've done some of these in the past, just not quite like this one. Mine are usually like easel cards, but I think her name is Corinne Braxton. I think that's how you say her name. And she demonstrated doing this little tent fold, and so I kind of like that. Like I said, I've done these all in the past like this, but then she did this little tent fold, and I thought that was easier than doing where you made it an easel card. So I will show you how to do this. So the first piece of cardstock, lay that down like that, is a piece that is 4 1/4 by 11 inches, and it's thick basic white, and then it's scored at 5 1/2 right here. So we're going to line these ends up and take the bone folder and burnish that score line. And then we have a piece here that this is 4 inches by 4 inches, and mine's already scored, but I'm still going to go through it with you. And so 4 inches by 4 inches, and you scored it 1 inch, whoops, 2 inch, and 3 inch. That's all it is. 1, 2, 3, so that you have 4 equal pieces. She made that very simple. And I will link her in the description. So we're going to fold back, forward, and back. Just kind of make a zigzag. And then take our bone folder. Make certain we burnish those score lines. Good and tight. So you either have an M or a W, however you want to look at it. Alright, so now then, I want my raw edges. This is how I did it. I don't remember how she did hers. I want my raw edges at the bottom. So I'm going to add some glue. And I'm going to open this up. I'm going to take the side that's got the glue and I'm going to put it down and line my bottom edges together. So right down here, I'm lining those edges up. There's a little bit of a, space here and there that it doesn't go all the way to the end. So just do that. And then I'm going to fold that down. And I'm going to add glue here. And I'm going to hold it down with my finger and bring this down till that edge reaches. That's all there is to it to make this tent fold. So it stands up. Okay, and you can mail this. The other pieces are, I think this is Gorgeous Grape, and the DSP that I'm using is the Perennial Lavender, and that is on, let's see, that's on page 22, I believe. Let's see, yes, it's on page 20. Well, I guess 23 technically, but this perennial lavender DSP, it's gorgeous. I love that. I love the stamp sets and different things that go with it. And this one here that has the, looks like postage stamps. So my piece of gorgeous grape is 5 1/4 by 4, and my piece of DSP is 3 7/8 by 5 1/8. So we just stepped down an eighth. And if you turn your cardstock on landscape and your DSP and line it up looking at all the different points, you can see more references, and it's easier to get it on straight than trying, like if you have trouble doing it in the portrait direction, turn it on landscape and I guarantee you it's easier. At least it is for me. So we're going to add this to the card front. This could be a card, just don't put the tint thing in the bottom, or you could. Using my pinky to hold the card base closed, lining everything up. Take that bone folder and make sure I get the top burnished well. It's coming together nicely. Now these, I've ordered these for years from Tailored Expressions, and so she used these also, and that's why it led me to look at her YouTube video on this calendar card. And you just tear off this piece here and you've got the whole next year of 2024. And so I realized January is almost over, but it's still got the next several months in there. Clear up through the end of the year. And let's see, does it have the last? Has December? Yeah, the last one's in December. And it even has a thing here. It tells time to order calendars for the new year, and it's right after you pull off your November one. And so, and it gives you the item number. And so you can go on to Tailored Expressions, and I think you get 8 of these calendar or tear-off calendars for $4 and then shipping. So I always order a couple packs of them, and so I really like those. We're going to add this on here. I think what I'm going to do, being we're going to be tearing this off, is I'm going to use tear tape for this. I just use my nail to pull it loose. Okay. Burnish those down. This is one of our old piercing tools. It's a heavy metal one. I think I've got 2 or 3 of them floating around that I use. I have the take your pick tool, but take it in different places, and then I don't usually have it at my desk. So I'm going to bring this down here to the bottom, try to line it up the best that I can, and then press. Alright, so now that part's done. Now it's time to do some stamping. bring in this scratch paper that we were using earlier. And then I have the Gorgeous Grape ink pad and Memento Tuxedo Black. And then I'm trying to remember if this is from that stamp set. I'm working on so many different classes and things that I will have to put it in the description what one. I think it's might be from the other one. Let's see. No, it's not from that one. I'll have to put that in the description what I used for the stamps because I can't remember off the top of my head right now. But I'm going to take my Gorgeous Grape and ink up my flowers. And then I'm going to stamp right there in the middle. Close that up. Bring in my Memento. And ink up Enjoy Your Day. I'm going to go up here through the top of the flowers. And then a little trick that I have is I'm going to bring in my Wink of Stella and I'm going to pull the collar from where I just stamped the flowers. I'm going to fill those in. I'll show you what I mean. See how, you might not be able to see it, these are filled in with a little bit of purple and these are stark white, and so I'm just shading them in just an ever so little amount by taking my Wink of Stella, and it makes the color run because it is the water-based inks. And then just brush the leaves a little bit. You can go back over it to color it in more, and if you want more you could take it off the edge of the ink pad. I find that just a little bit of a subtle, and then you can just make sure it runs clear. And we're almost finished. Add glue to the back. Come in, try to get the words straight. Press it down. Move these out of the way. And then I have my brushed brass butterflies. And I'll take one of these large ones, put it there. Put some smaller ones around. Like that. There we go. I'll add another one out here in the corner. And there we have it. That is our other card. And it is made into a desk calendar. You just set it up and you can see it. tear off each piece each month, and then you can sign the back or stamp the back with your signature stamp. You could write a message to them, or you could write it on a post-it note and just stick it to the back. So there we go. So here are the projects that we did tonight. Give me just a moment here and I'll clean up my space. So we did the 2 of those, and then we did, well, actually we just did 1 of them, but here are the little treat holders. And let me put that host code back up. And so this host code right here, it's CVMM7EWH, and if you use that when you're placing your order, that will let me know that you're wanting the kit for these 2 projects, for the little treat and for the desk calendar. You will get the Tailored Expressions, one of the calendars, and each of the pieces, and then I'll even send you some of the brass butterflies that you would need for that. You get everything from me but the ink. So I want to thank you for joining me, and happy stamping. And remember, it goes until the January 31st, 2024 is you would get these free if you place an order with me for $35 or more. And if you already get to $35, you could go ahead and bump it up to $50 and get one of the free items from the Sale-A-Bration brochure. So happy stamping, and thank you for joining me.